When he is ready to please let me know, and we can go ahead and start our meeting. We can start recording. Thank you.
I am ready. We can begin the recording. And it looks like we are recording.
It does on my end too, if you want to go ahead and move forward.
Okay. The time is now 4:08 p.m. on March 11th, 2021, and I would like to call this special joint meeting of the Chula Vista Advisory Commission and the Commission on Aging to order. In the interest of public health and safety and pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order N-29-20, members of the Healthy Chula Vista Advisory Commission and the Commission on Aging and staff are participating in this meeting by teleconference. In accordance with the Executive Order, the public may view this meeting online, but not in person at City Hall. The city has launched a virtual commenting portal, eComment, that allows residents to comment and in the meeting from their own homes. You can find the link to eComment at chulavistaca.gov/virtual meetings. Your comments must be received before I call for the close of the commenting period in order to be considered. After the commenting period is closed, I will announce a brief pause to allow the commissioners time to read any comments that have been received. If you have difficulty or need assistance with the e-comment during the meeting, please email Patricia Salvacion at psalvacion@chulavistaca.gov. Staff will assist you. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Yes, I will start with the Healthy Chula Vista Advisory Commission. Commissioner Cruz.
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez-Nader. Commissioner Martinez.
Here, present.
Commissioner Melgoza.
Present.
Commissioner Quiros. Commissioner Valdivia.
Here.
Chair Rodriguez.
Present.
And Commissioner Murguia is absent, and Commissioner Murphy is running a little bit late. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Giovanna Gonzalez. I'm the Secretary for Commission on Aging. Commissioner Allen. Commissioner Allen is absent. Commissioner Corbeil.
Here.
Commissioner Crawford. Commissioner Crawford is absent. Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Johnson is absent. Commissioner Mallon. Also absent. Commissioner Persiculi requested to be absent today. And Chair Tran.
Present.
Doesn't look like Commission on Aging has a quorum this meeting.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming. The first item on the agenda is item number 1. It's a presentation by San Diego University on becoming an age-friendly university. I understand we have a video to share with the group about the initiative. Staff, could you begin the video?
Before,
Oh,
if I could just say one thing as a prelude, I certainly, well, good afternoon to everyone, but I wanted to make sure I said my deep appreciation and acknowledgement to Stacy Kurz and the Chula Vista Healthy Commission and the Commission on Aging. It was several years ago where Stacy reached out to the School of Social Work and said, can we help as you were planning your age-friendly blueprint? And so we went out there and we helped with a couple of the surveys that you did. I can still see that the big City Hall council meeting where we were having this presentation and people were deciding on what goals they were interested in. And out of that, it was just a pleasure to work with Stacy and the folks in Chula Vista. But out of that helped me realize how important the issue was, and that there was a way that we could be helpful. And that was the launch of all the stuff that you're going to see and hear in the next 8 minutes. So I wanted to give you some backdrop for that. You guys were incredibly important, and I wanted to say thank you before anything else happened.
Well, I'd like to say thank you and welcome Steve Hornberger from SDSU's Social Policy Institute.
The American Association of Retired Persons, or AARP, conducted a social experiment on millennials' perception of old age.
What age do you consider to be old?
Late 40s?
Maybe 50?
I feel like 30s and new 20s. So I'd say like 40 is old.
Then they met some baby boomers.
Hello, I'm Birch. I'm 66.
Hi, I'm Daphne, and I'm 68. I'm Dee, and I'm 55.
George Fassbinder, 75.
My name's Parvati. I'm 70.
They had just 2 minutes to teach each other something new.
And bring it to your heart, and bring it to your heart.
I try to get you balanced.
And it's up. Now, you bring your legs and your feet up. It's hard, right?
Yeah.
Intergenerational inclusivity improves health and economic stability in all ages. The proposed Center for Excellence in Aging and Longevity at the Social Policy Institute aligns with SDSU's strategic plan to address ongoing racial, gender, age, and economic inequalities in our region.
Social Policy Institute has a mission of bridging academia with government, business, and community to improve individual, family, and community well-being.
The Center for Excellence in Aging and Longevity will focus on 4 areas of measurable outcomes: research and policy, workforce opportunities, and longevity initiatives, and will lead SDSU to become San Diego's first age-friendly university.
This is an approach across the country where universities become centers for lifelong learning for students, faculty, administrators, staff, as well as community members and alumni.
Well, for me, an age-friendly university would mean that all ages are welcome and that seniors are not only accepted in a literal sense into universities, but that their fellow classmates accept them as well.
I come from the LGBTQ space, and that's where I feel like generationally, we're still learning from each other. And if we created an intergenerational program, it bridges that gap of misunderstanding so that we can learn from each other.
Scalability is already underway with secured public and private partnerships and timely alignment with California's new master plan for aging.
ARP is delighted to be part of this opportunity to provide solutions to not only seniors, but intergenerationally to make our communities more livable.
Now, what age might you consider to be old?
Probably 80 or 90. An age that I would consider to be old now might be 100.
As long as I'm growing and learning, then age doesn't matter.
All right, thank you. That was excellent. It ran pretty smoothly on my side. So welcome, Steve Hornberger.
Oh, thank you. And to give you some backdrop, the university has this big idea competition. And so given all that we had been learning from Chula Vista and then La Mesa, where we helped facilitate their livable La Mesa action plan, and now with San Diego City, it became clear that our county is not ready for what's happening in terms of this age demographic, that by 2030, the number of people over 65 is going to double in San Diego, and it's going to be 30% more diverse in terms of race, ethnicity, language spoken, and sexual orientation, social economic status. And so it's going to be a very different older population. And I was even surprised to realize that the fastest growing age population by 2030 is going to be over 85s. Because what we're discovering is that if you make it to 65, but for an accident, you're almost guaranteed to make it to 75. And if you make it to 75, but for an accident, you're almost guaranteed to make it 85. And it's this period past the historical retirement age that people are now talking about, this longevity, that we're now going to have 20, 30 years after retirement. And so the question becomes, what do people need? What do people want to do? How do you find meaning and purpose? And so that's where that longevity is. And that's why for the Center for Excellence in Aging and Longevity, we've been focusing on research and policy. How do we better understand what people, older adults, their families, their caregivers, the communities need and want to find meaning and purpose? How do we start to address the policy issues that are coming down, as you all know, about the California Master Plan on Aging and their 5 bold goals? San Diego County will be redoing their next version of the roadmap to age well. So there's a lot of policy implications, and then so that's in the research and policy. We also want to begin to create a interprofessional, intergenerational evaluation and research projects, because it's no longer going to be academics getting a grant and saying, this is what we think people want. We want to really be able to engage community members and other stakeholders to say, what is the community and the society we want for people to age? And as you saw by some of those millennials, I'm trying to imagine what a 20-something now who's going to be in graduate school, how do they have a horizon of imagining living 70 more years? I remember when I was in graduate school, I was just worried about the next 5 years. I didn't even have a frame of reference for this. And so we want to begin to help people begin to think about that and then start to make some decisions. And lastly, in terms of the age-friendly, that's a parallel initiative and movement comparable to the age-friendly communities, because if the universities are going to become more focused on this, the technical term is translational research, that there are academic entities that do great work in developing new information. But it doesn't matter if it's not usable and effective in the community. So this piece of called translational research, and we're very action oriented. And as you can tell by what we did with Chula Vista, what we did with La Mesa, what we're doing now in San Diego City. And so we're excited about what's coming, and we're excited to be able to bring different sectors together. The piece about workforce, right now, whenever we think about older adults and workforce, we're thinking about what services and supports we can provide to them. And clearly some people are going to still need that. But if you're going to be 60 years old in relatively good health and you're going to make it to 85, you may also want to be working and creating work for yourself, by yourself. People are surprised that the age group that is creating and starting the most small businesses are over 65s. Because, it may or may not mean that they need to work for financial circumstances, but some people, for many people, I'll take it back, work is where you find meaning. It's where you find yourself engaged in the community, giving to the community, learning, meeting new people and new ideas. And that's what we want to have vibrant and a quality of life for all people. And you can tell I'm rather excited about it. And we're looking forward to what happens next. I can say that our Healthy Aging has made it into the second round, and that's the video you saw that was showcased last week. There was some really strong positive feedback and support of it. And in terms of the age-friendly university effort, that's already under consideration in the president's office, and I expect to have an answer within the next week or two. So I'll certainly keep you guys posted about that. And now Stacy told me to talk fast to make sure you guys had enough time for questions.
I did not exactly say that, but Steve talks fast anyway. We're both New Yorkers. So I just want to thank Steve. SDSU's support of Healthy Chula Vista efforts and the age-friendly work has just been phenomenal. And I don't know if you all noticed, but there's a couple of stars on the screen with us today. So Chair Tran was in that video that you guys saw.
Yeah.
And then Joe Garbanzo, who's also a Chula Vista resident, was featured in the video. So Chula Vista was well represented. I think that only means that Steve needs to move to Chula Vista. But I had a surprise for Steve and everybody else as well. So Jonathan, if you're comfortable, Benjamin and Yilin, if you're comfortable turning on your cameras and saying hello. So one of the efforts that we have been talking about is making sure that we're also having students intern and have intergenerational experiences. And so these are 3 interns that just started with me this week. They're all public administration majors at SDSU, and they'll all be working on age-friendly and healthy Chula Vista related work. So we're carrying the torch, Steve.
All right, so on Monday, when we have our big idea team meeting, we'll find some tasks for them to do.
Perfect, I'll invite them.
Yeah, you have to be careful around me. I'm always finding things for other people to do.
So that concludes the presentation, Chair Rodriguez, if you guys have questions.
Well, thank you so much. Very excited about this continued partnership.
Yes.
Do the commissioners have any comments or questions for Mr. Hornberger before we go to public comment?
I was just going to say that I think it's great that you're starting this program. Some of the stats that you mentioned about, people living longer as long as they don't have an accident is very great news, I think, and more importantly to put out there about protecting and, being safe and stretching and all of that. But what kind of support do you need specifically from us as a council for the city of Chula Vista to ensure this actually, continues to be something that's highlighted in San Diego County?
Oh, well, thank you so much for that. I think right now we're still trying to go through the competition, if you will, but what's clear is everybody has said, no matter what happens with the competition, we're going to go forward. And so at that point, I think we're going to get more specific about what we'd like to accomplish in year 1. Like, for instance, this morning we had the research work group meeting, and we're putting together this whole aging research network. That's going to be a collaboration between SDSU, UCSD, and the county. And so more is coming. And I guess CC is just fabulous. And now that I got 3 interns, we'll have more connections and communication. And I just, that's a long-winded way for me saying, I'm not sure yet, but I don't want to pass and say nothing. So, I'll be back.
That's fair. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Seeing no other comments, I will now call for a 2-minute period pause to allow the public to submit any final comments on the item before any final commission comments. Commissioners, as a reminder, please refresh the view on your screen to ensure new comments appear. Perfect. Commenting period for this item is now closed. Commission Secretary, would you please announce for the record?
No comments were received.
Okay. Do any commissioners have any additional comments or questions? Steve, I know your email address was shornberger@sdsu.edu. Could commissioners reach out to you in the future if they have any questions or would like to get involved? Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm seeing no other comments or... Oh, Steve, you're muted if you were trying to say something.
Well, I wanted to say thank you, and then just that closing thought that's on the two-pager, you know, that Rosalind Carter said that there are 4 kinds of people in the world. Those who have been caregivers, those who are caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. And I look forward to working together to create a San Diego that we all can take much better equitable care of one another. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. The next item on the agenda is item number 2, presentation on COVID-19 related services to seniors. I would like to welcome city staff Joy Watley and Marlon King this afternoon to provide us with information on the city's response to COVID-19 for our senior community.
And we do have a video that I'll go ahead and share first as well.
Today marks the first day that Operation Unity takes off, and it's really being driven by ultimately the city. We're getting enormous support from city council, city management, and so brings us to our mobile vaccination effort that has taken off today. And it's a great opportunity for the fire department to continue to serve the community in their time of need and adjust, train our firefighters to vaccinate the public and serve their needs. And that's their need at this moment, and we're here to do that.
We are really trying to get to everybody. We know there's a huge demand for the vaccination, and people are getting very anxious. We're going out into the community, we're going to find you, and we're going to get you vaccinated. Because we know that you need our help right now, and we're here to help you.
I filled this out yesterday, and today I'm getting that injection. Perfect. I think that's great.
Even though this is a good day in Chula Vista, we need to continue to make sure that we're safe going forward and that our community will be back, enjoying our lives and enjoying our community very soon.
With that, we have Marlon King, our Emergency Operation Coordinator, to talk a little bit about the program that you just saw.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Yeah, what you just saw was our city's initiative at doing our part to assist with vaccinations. We are coordinating with, you guys still hear me? Yes, okay, perfect, sorry. Yeah. Our IT is struggling, so. Yeah, so that's our attempt at helping our community with vaccinations. We know that it's very difficult for our senior community to get out and get on the websites and get vaccines. So we're doing a little bit of outreach to our senior facilities and others kind of in those critical categories to do our part in vaccinating. We go out to these locations, we speak with the managers at those locations, find out how many individuals that they have at their properties, And all this is done through our partnership with our library department. Joy Watley and her staff do a great job and tremendous assist kind of behind the scenes. They do all the logistical work for us that enables our firefighter, paramedics, and EMTs to just go on site and put shots in arms and help vaccinate our community. Thus far, we've done about, let's say, 15 or 16 events, and that's all at senior facilities or senior communities. It could be a residential facility, it could be a mobile home park. Again, all serving the senior population. We've done over, I'm going to say we've done over 1,500 vaccinations just from our mobile unit. In addition, we have some of our firefighter paramedics assisting at the Sharp Superstation here at the Chula Vista Mall, the former Sears building, which we have a hand in setting up as well. So through Operation Immunity in total, we've probably administered over probably about 6,500 vaccine in total, maybe more around 7,000 through our mobile operation and then our static positions at the Sears facility. And all this is capable because of our city management leaning forward, wanting us to get out there and do this. Our partnership with the County of San Diego provided the training and provides us with the vaccine to go out and do this. We plan to continue doing this on a weekly basis as we move through our senior populations and more tiers become eligible. We'll be servicing others in the community as well. We're looking at striking up a partnership with the Chula Vista Elementary School District. There are grandparents that basically serve as the caretakers, and then they're watching over the children, and they don't have the time to get on the computer and schedule an appointment or get out and get an appointment. So we want to see if we can do something to assist those individuals as well. But again, we're very fortunate to get out into the community and help with this vaccination. And we know it's much needed here in the South Bay. We've been hit the hardest. I'm sure everybody's kind of keeping up with the numbers, and things seem to be improving. Right, that's good. There's a bright light at the end of the tunnel. We all want to get back together and kind of have some normalcy in life, and this vaccine is a part of it. We're glad the numbers are going down. We're glad that the tier restrictions may be changing, right? We could be moving from the purple tier, which we are currently. We could likely be moving into the red tier maybe sometime next week or the week thereafter, which would mean a return of some type of normalcy, indoor dining, maybe indoor gyms, stuff like that. A lot of indoor operations could occur in that red tier, and we can feel a lot better about it and a lot safer because we know that we are vaccinating more and more of our community. Again, starting Monday, more persons will become eligible for the vaccine. So again, if there is anybody that is in need, and if there's any way we can assist, please do reach out to myself or other members of the city that could put us in touch with those individuals and figure out how we can get them a vaccine. If our fire department can't do it, we certainly have the ability through myself or through Joy's team at the call center to assist in scheduling people for appointments somewhere else. So we're trying to do all that we can, reach our arms out into the community, make ourselves accessible, and provide services for those that are most in need. Joy, did you want to say anything?
Sure. Good evening, commissioners. You know, the Chula Vista Library is so proud to join, you know, Marlon and the fire department in order to get Operation Immunity going. It's funny because I get asked a lot on why librarians would be involved in this, but librarians truly are information professionals, and whether that information is getting access to where I can find a job or a computer, it may even be getting access to a vaccine as it is currently right now. There's a couple of things that we've been doing behind the scenes, as Marlon was talking about. One of the things that we did was we started the vaccine call center. The call center runs Monday through Friday. We actually will help you book an appointment for the vaccine. And we, at the very beginning, we were getting so many calls from children of seniors, and I mean children loosely, they're probably in their 30s and 40s, but they were calling because they were so concerned over their parents having to find a way to be able to book a vaccine appointment. And so they actually would call, leave their name on a wait list, and we actually, you know, got them set up with a vaccine appointment. Since its inception back in January, we actually have assisted like 8,122 calls and appointments to our Sears Supercenter, our Superstation. So we're really excited about that. And if anybody needs that number, it's actually 619-476-2397. We also support Marlon and his team as they go, as he said, going out to the seniors and the senior home parks and booking even those homebound seniors. We've actually partnered with Meals on Wheels, gotten the information from their clients and been able to go out and vaccinate their clients as well. And on the back end of that, Marlon's team, as they go out and vaccinate everybody, we actually go in and do all the data entry that requires us to show where those vaccines are going. And so we're working on all of those. If you also know of anybody who's homebound or eligible under the current status, please let us know, or they can call into 619-407-3560, and we'll get them. We'll get the fire department to come and visit them as well. So, super excited. We definitely know it's ramping up, as Marlon was saying. It has definitely been busy, but we're really excited to be able to do this to get to be relevant to our community at this time.
Thank you for everything that both Marlon and Joy, you guys have been doing. I think that's awesome. I do have a couple of questions, though. I started promoting to my aunts and uncles who are in the age eligible to go get them, and a lot of them were surprised. First of all, they're like, oh, we didn't know we could go now. Where do we go? So my dad and me helped them out. And my dad said, we haven't really heard about a whole lot. My dad's very computer savvy and watches the news and all that. But I was wondering, have you posted, because normally they would get, my aunts and uncles and their friends would get the information from the church or their walks that they do with their group, but they haven't been doing that, and they don't live in senior homes. So I was wondering if there's been anything rolled out in Spanish specifically, and maybe posters at Henry's or anything like that, because I was surprised to hear that they didn't know about it, but I also haven't gone around and done research or anything, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to ask how you've been targeting the Latino community who isn't in a senior home.
Joy, did you want to tackle it?
Yeah, our call center is actually, we always have Spanish-speaking staff at the call center the entire time it's open. And so we definitely have been targeting. We know that that's a need as well. I think at the tail end of that video, before Stacy shut it down, was the actual flyer. If I'm not correct, right, Marlon? It was the phone number and the flyer in both English and Spanish as well.
I didn't happen to see it, but
yeah.
Go ahead, Joy. I'll let you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's okay.
Yeah, and through our Office of Communications, we have publicized that our call center is available. Again, it's all mainly on social media. I don't know that we've done actually hard copies in the stores or put it out kind of at those locations that are most frequented by the individuals. The information has been provided to the promotoras, but I don't know that we have a flyer specifically speaking to those age eligible tiers. We actually had a call, I'm going to say earlier this week, in partnership with the school district, kind of talking about the elderly individuals and knowing where the opportunities to receive vaccines are, right? We all know about the Sharp Superstation, but there are other smaller community pods or community vaccination centers that are available as well, and they may not be known by most. Most of the attention is focused on those superstations. So we actually have a flyer that's in development, should be released probably tomorrow into this week. Actually going out with the promotoras, being sent out through the school district to those families, so that the information is accessible to all and they know what all of their options are. And this again is in English and Spanish. So again, we're trying to do our best to publicize this information, get it out to everyone, and make it known that we want to assist. Again, our call center does take predominantly Spanish-speaking calls. That's probably who most of our callers are. So I think the word is getting out there, although I'm sure we can do a lot better job as well.
Can I add? The specific one that I was thinking about, I'm thinking right now, they don't have any grandkids or children that would be attached to the schools, and they're not going on their walks with the promotoras as they normally would, so they wouldn't have heard it. So may I recommend, posting them probably like at Otay Farms, at Henry's, some of the, Carnival, like those types of smaller mom and pop, if you want to call them that, even though they're bigger shops in the South Bay. I think that would be very effective because they are getting groceries. They don't have the Meals on Wheels, but there's a group of them that are ready to go, but they didn't know they could. And they're not on social media, and they're generally healthy, so they hadn't gone into their doctors, from what I know.
Right.
just another suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's a great point, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because kind of that's our next focus group, right? Those grocers, and we'll likely come across them as we're going into the grocery stores and vaccinating our food and agricultural workers in our hardest hit communities as well. But I like that suggestion, and I will certainly ensure personally that our team gets out there, gets these flyers posted up, or even just have the staff at the grocers pass those out so people know that these resources are available.
Marlon and Joyce, this is hi. This is Commissioner Mendoza with Chula Vista Commission. We're doing this in that Dr. Rodriguez and I both work for San Isidro Health, and what you guys are doing is such a best practice. You guys should be commended. Not everyone is able to do homebound seniors, and that in itself is just amazing. I mean, you have no idea how much it speaks to equity. I mean, so much so that I was in the city today for a possible national ABC story, because it is so rare and unique. I mean, we should be so proud to know that you guys are doing this work. One of the things that when we encounter our patients that we have to literally almost not necessarily drag in, but persuade them how important it is to get vaccinated. One of them said, I only came in because my doctor told me that they can't sleep at night knowing that I'm not vaccinated. So there's still, a lot of that outreach and education has to be done. So I really love that you guys are going to someone's house. I would say right now, the biggest selling point is being able to hug your grandkids, being able to hug one another. And now that we have CDC guidance that says fully vaccinated people, especially those in nursing homes, are able to hug, that is like huge, especially in our communities, because we're such huggers. So I know you guys probably have more demand than you have supply. I know we do, but I just want to go on the record. I have to leave for a 5 o'clock equity meeting with the county, but I just want to applaud you guys for everything you guys are doing. You have no idea how proud I am as a Chula Vistan citizen, being in healthcare, supporting this cause. It's amazing.
Thank you, Commissioner Melgoza. I wanted to give Cindy Gonzalez a few minutes to talk about what the former South Bay Community Services, now called SBCS, is doing. Marlon mentioned a few times about the promotoras and all the great work that they do. And they really are our community leaders, and it takes a village for this effort, right? So Cindy's going to tell us a little bit about what SBCS. She was an addition to our agenda and a very welcome one. So I'm going to go ahead and post, in addition to Joy's call center, SBCS can help with appointments as well. So I'm going to pull that up for you, Cindy, and then if you want to go ahead and tell us about the services SBCS is providing related to COVID.
Thank you, Stacy, and thank you for having me. So like Stacy said, my name is Cindy Gonzalez. I'm a promotora with SBCS. And I don't know if everybody knows what promotoras do, but we're the bridge between the community and resources or services that are available to the community members. And the fact that we live in the communities in which we work, it's easier for us to deliver those valuable resources when they're most needed. And I know, we could be one of those sources on getting that information out there. And I'll talk a little bit more about our way of putting that information out there in a little bit. So through this whole pandemic, we've been providing our community members with the most updated information on all things COVID, how to isolate properly, how to quarantine properly, where to find testing sites at the very beginning. We also helped with contact tracing. So right now we've moved into this whole vaccine education and also helping San Diego residents with where to go and get their vaccines. And so we partnered with the county with Project Save as well, and that's mostly focused on the 65 and over community members, but we're also helping all of San Diego County residents, helping to find those sites. And we're referring them to projects or programs like Marlon was saying, to come out to the home. So we're finding these community members by calling past people that have come and taken part of our programs or workshops or anything. We're reaching out to those people right now, or just word of mouth. Each promotora that we have at SBCS has a list of community members that they work with, and so that's how we're spreading the word right now. Our flyers just came out last week, so we're going to be able to get those flyers out to the community. Different locations, like you were saying, it's a great idea. we're helping them to navigate. We can help not just the 65 and over. We know that there's a big need there because a lot of them don't know how to use computers, or they're just scared to make that appointment. So they can call us, and we'll actually make that appointment for them on the phone, just like you're doing over there at the library. But we're also helping the rest of San Diego County. But we do focus on 65 and over because they're the most in need right now. And that's what we do. And I think, Stacy, did you put up the, yes, this is our flyer. You can call our agency directly at 619-420-3620. There, we also refer you to, if there's something that we can't do, we'll find the place for you to go and get that service for the community. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you so much, all the presenters. It definitely is going to take everyone working together to end this pandemic finally. And the quicker we can get everyone immunized, the quicker we can all get back together and have our meetings in person even. But does any other commissioners have comments or questions for any of the presenters before we move to the public comment period? I will now call for a 2-minute pause to allow the public to submit any final comments on the item before any final commission comments. Commissioners, as a reminder, please refresh the view on your screen to ensure new comments appear. Okay, the commenting period for this item is now closed. Commission Secretary, would you please announce for the record the number of comments received?
No comments were received. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any additional comments or questions?
Cindy did have another comment that she wanted to make.
I did. Sorry, I forgot. I was so into talking about the vaccine, but just so everybody knows, they can also come to SBCS if they have any COVID related need, and that's, rental assistance, help paying with their utilities, even bereavement information that they, we can help with that information as well. The same phone number, 420-3620.
And Cindy, is there a website as well?
There is. It's, hold on, I have it right here. Should know this by heart already, but it's www.sbcssandiego.org, and I'll go ahead and put it in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, I'll echo what Commissioner Melgoza said, that these efforts are so important. There's so many hard to reach people who really want to get the vaccine, but there's been so many barriers in place preventing them from doing so. So the more resources out there and hopefully more vaccines coming, get everybody vaccinated. Any other commissioner comments? Okay, seeing none, the next item on the agenda is item number 3. This is a presentation on Chula Vista Senior Connect phone services. I'd like to introduce Stacy Kurtz from Development Services to lead this item.
And actually, there was a change of plans. Susie Bechtel and Joanna Aboza from 211 are actually going to start, and I'm going to finish.
Thanks, Stacy. Hi, all. My name is Susie Bechtel. I'm the development manager at 211 San Diego. We were just going to start with a very brief overview of 211 San Diego and our services in the community, and then we'll throw it over to Stacy. 211 San Diego, our mission is to serve as a nexus to bring the community together to help people efficiently access appropriate services and provide vital data and trend information for proactive community planning. Next slide. Just a very brief overview of what we're doing here in the community. We connect individuals and families to health, community, and disaster services 24/7, 365. Just a brief overview of what we do, the easy to remember 3-digit dialing code, and our accreditations, various accreditations to do the work we do. And then I wanted to give just a very brief overview of our vaccine response, kind of along with all the other agencies that are working. We have, oh, sorry, next slide. We have answered just specifically to the vaccines between the 1st of January 22nd and 2/28. Over 195,000 calls went to the 211 main line. 77,000 of those were folks looking for COVID information, and then 52,000 of those were folks looking for vaccines. So of those, we were able to schedule 4,200 appointments for those that are eligible, and the vaccines were available, and then 600 of those were indicated that they were homebound seniors. So we are placing those on an interest list currently to make sure that we follow up with them for services such as the immunity, Project Immunity, which we took note of to make sure that maybe after this meeting we can get in touch with I think it was Marlon, and I noted it here, and Marlon and his team, to make sure that we grab them to make sure we have that information in our resource database. And then carrying on, that brings us to Project Care, which I will hand over to Joanna Aboza, our Senior Manager for Care Coordination, to speak to.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. So yeah, I'll just do a quick overview around Project Care. So Stacy and I actually connected through our Project Care program that we have through the County of San Diego. So what this program is, it's a partnership with a couple of different agencies throughout the county. It's Jewish Family Services and Elder Help. Us as partners, we are connecting frail and isolated seniors to resources to help prevent social isolation, loneliness, neglect, and abuse, with the ultimate goal of keeping seniors in their homes. So that is our Project Care program. We have some data on the different clients that we've served. So Stacy, if you could just go on to the next slide, please. So we have had this program since July 2015. There are 4 different components to this program, and each partner of the contract does a different portion of the activity. So one of the larger ones is access assistance. So this is any client that's calling into 211, as well as any of the other partner organizations, Elder Help and Jewish Family Services, and is looking for information and access to different types of resources. So since July 2015, we have served over 70,000 individuals with getting them connected to different types of resources to meet those needs, to be able to have them stay in their homes. We have also provided 6,083 clients with follow-up support. So this is any client who was provided with a connection to a resource, but then has called back into 211 and has said that they have a barrier to getting connected to that resource or accessing that resource. So then we are providing some additional follow-up support, which could be anywhere from 1 follow-up call until up to 10 follow-up calls until we're really able to address that need for the client. And we are also providing ongoing support. So these are daily check-ins or weekly check-ins, depending on what the client asks for. And this is just a quick phone call, make sure that everything is all good with the senior, getting them connected to resources. So this is the component of the services that 211 has been providing since July 2015. And then in terms of the South region, so we are serving all all 4 regions of San Diego County. For the South region of San Diego, so for access assistance, we've provided that assistance to over 15,000 clients. So about 21% of all clients have been in the South region of San Diego. And then 811 of the clients have been provided with the follow-up support. So those are phone calls that are done by our navigation team at 211 and just making sure that that all the barriers are being addressed for those clients. So that's about 13% of all the clients served have been in the South region of San Diego. And then Stacy for the next slide. And then just a final overview of another partnership that we've started up in just recently in response to the COVID-19 and to getting clients connected to the vaccine. So we have partnered with WestPace, and we have actually been able to connect 758 clients to their vaccine appointments up at the WestPace San Marcos location. We have just recently started connecting clients to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, just actually today and tomorrow. Our clinics where we have set up those appointments for those individuals. And then next week we are focusing on Moderna vaccines, and this is for seniors 65 years and older who have lots of different barriers. We're also able to provide them with transportation to get to their appointments through a Lyft contract that we have. So that's been a really, really great partnership with WestPace and ensuring that we're really meeting the needs of those highly vulnerable seniors and getting them over to those appointments. With as well as transportation assistance so that they are able to get there safely. And I believe that is it.
So in the fall, we were notified that the San Diego Foundation, who we had originally received our grant from to develop the age-friendly network or to join the age-friendly network in Chula Vista, we were notified that they were providing grant opportunities for any jurisdiction that was in the age-friendly network or in process of joining. So we were looking at the grant and the current issues that we were facing during COVID. We have a lot of goals around technology and addressing technology barriers in our and you're going to hear about a number of them coming up in the near future, the next couple of presentations. But what we also recognized was there's just a segment of our population that will never have technology access. They either choose they don't want to, or it's just beyond their abilities at this time. And so what we decided was that we were going to apply for a grant that would develop a phone system tree, if you will, for seniors in our community. So we applied back in November, were awarded. We partnered with 211 San Diego on the grant. We looked around to see who had the infrastructure for the phone system. And as you heard, they have a very robust system. So we're working with them directly to develop a phone system that will essentially be a one-stop shop for Chula Vista residents. So we are calling it Chula Vista Senior Connect, or CV Senior Connect. And we're a little bit behind schedule because of contracting and COVID and everything going on in our lives these days. But one of the interns that I introduced earlier is going to be focusing on this. So with those capable hands, I'm sure we're going to move a lot faster now and launch in the next couple of months. But essentially 211 is going to be in charge of, and I just noticed there's an error on this presentation, so I'll go over that. But 211 is going to be in charge of building that infrastructure for us, and then working with our recreation and our library staff to ensure that we roll this out to our senior community. I put in everybody over the age of 65 as potential candidates, and I think it was like 37,000 people that were potentially clients for this particular service. So, that would be the goal, is to get everybody enrolled in this. And so it's a three-pronged system. The first would be a weekly recorded call, which would just be like an automated call to give people information on events and important information in the city. So like, distribution of food or vaccinations, that type of information would be on that automated call. And then the second piece, which there is an error on the screen, it shouldn't say weekly recorded call. This should be the Project Cares, so that middle bubble there. So this is the automated check-in services that Project Care already provides through the county and 211. So you heard 13% of the clients are in the South Bay, and we know our needs in the South Bay are huge. So, that's going to be one of the metrics that we look at is what is the current base of people that are enrolled in Project Care, that are accessing 211 services, and where can we get that to for our senior community? And then finally, the third prong of this phone system will be a social networking platform. So this will be really through our recreation department as far as classes are concerned. We're going to be looking at providing this both virtually and by phone. So maybe like a Zoom platform might be used. So that people aren't excluded and they can still access it even if they just have a landline at their home. And so, again, exercise classes, support groups, all sorts of things that we're going to be working on developing over the next couple of months when we launch this. So we're certainly open to ideas about this. Like I said, it's just in the infancy stage of being developed. If there's input on this, we welcome it. We will be producing some promotional videos. We do have a contract with a videographer for that piece of it as well. So we'll be looking for models too, potentially. So if you know of anybody that's interested in being part of our CV Senior Connect promotions, please let us know. And that concludes staff's presentation on this item.
Thank you so much. Do the commissioners have any comments or questions for the city or 211 staff before we go to public comment?
This is Mary Cruz. Hi. This is awesome. This is really a great program, Stacy. Congratulations on getting the award and on all the work you've done and 211's collaboration. That's excellent program. Thank you.
I echo that sentiment.
Oh.
That was, yes, excellent presentation and meeting such a recognized need in the community.
This is Commissioner Orozco Valdivia. I wanted to also commend this project. And my other question is, in what other languages besides English will these calls have? English, Spanish, Tagalog, what's the thought on that?
This is Susie. I can speak to that. Currently our tele-interpreter services are, we have over 200 languages available in those. I have to confirm internally what the outbound dialer is able to do in those accessibility, but I do know that Spanish and English are absolutely possible through this program. And then we do have other languages such as Tagalog that we can utilize as well or implement.
Thank you.
I will now call for a 2-minute pause to allow the public to submit any final comments on the item before any final commission comments. Commissioners, as a reminder, please refresh the view on your screen to ensure new comments appear. The commenting period for this item is now closed. Commission Secretary, would you please announce for the record the number of comments received?
No public comments were received. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any additional comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll just say that I'm looking forward to seeing this project develop, and if you need any input move forward, I think our commissions would be happy to help out along the way. And the next item of business is item number 4, a presentation on proposed Chula Vista Community Shuttle. And Stacy Kurtz, I understand you have a presentation to share.
Yes, I do. So another opportunity in the fall came about for us through the Clean Mobility Options Voucher Program, which is through the Air Resource Board. And that really promotes micro mobility, clean air options in transportation. And our conservation department partnered with me on this one to submit an application for a voucher. We are still waiting to hear back, but we did make it through the first round at least because they asked us for clarifying questions. So I wanted to show you this because there is a large commitment at the city to make this happen, whether it be through this particular voucher, which we're still keeping our fingers crossed about, or through other means, and long-term also expanding this. So essentially what the application was to address both daily trips and community event type of transportation for our senior community. So what you're seeing on your screen is a map of what would be our initial service area or pilot project under the Clean Mobility Options Voucher. And it would service residents that live in the orange area along the I-5 to Broadway corridor, which there are several mobile home parks. There's actually over 500 spaces of seniors in mobile home parks in that particular area, which is amazing to me. And then we also have 2 senior housing complexes. The requirements for eligibility are very strict with this particular voucher. So we have seniors on Broadway, which is number 3 down kind of at the bottom towards L Street. And then Congregational Tower, which all of you are probably familiar with, right next to Norman Park Senior Center. So in addition to those in orange, the 2 affordable housing complexes would also be eligible for service. And what it would do would be providing a neighborhood electric vehicle, which is kind of a very glorified golf cart, if you will, that can travel at speeds around 35 miles an hour. So it has to be used on local streets. That would provide free shuttle service to our senior community in those areas. And they could provide that service within the purple service area. And as you can see, there's a lot of amenities within that area, including our Norman Park Senior Center, medical facilities, shopping facilities, banking. And so, the hope is long-term that we would be able to expand this area through paid fares for non-seniors. But the goal and the commitment is really to, try to find this get this funding or find other funding to institute this. We've partnered on the grant with Circuit, which is a company that provided free shuttle services in downtown San Diego for a while. So you may be familiar with them. They are national, so they have services throughout the country. But this is really the first time that they've kind of coupled their shuttle service with free services for seniors. And we'll be working with them if we receive the grant and are successful with them to build a sustainability plan. The grant is for 3 years, but we would be looking at a sustainability plan and leveraging other sources as well to both expand the service area, widen the eligibility of those that could participate, and then also just looking to broaden it, like I said, through other fare paid services and so forth. It couples nicely with the project with Sandag that we've been working on for the mobility hub. I think we've talked about that before, at least in Healthy Chula Vista. That project is looking at micromobility at one of the trolley stations where kind of all transportation comes together in one central hub, and other services are provided for residents as well. So this would support that. effort as well. So again, it's in the infancy right now. We're keeping our fingers crossed that we'll receive this funding, but this is something that the city really does want to see. Councilmember Galvez in particular, this is her district. She's really anxious to get this off the ground and see some shuttle service in Northwest Chula Vista and really in Western Chula Vista in general. So that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you so much. Do the commissioners have any comments or questions for city staff before public comment?
Do you have any, how do you plan to include Eastern Chula Vista?
Yeah, so at this time, as I mentioned, this is kind of a pilot project. So you know, and we'll come back and we can go into detail if we are successful in receiving the funding, but this project alone was $1 million ask. And that's just for what you see in front of you. So these things take a lot of money to kind of get off the ground because we're paying for the vehicles and we're paying for the operator. So it's a dedicated driver. We talked about the importance with our senior community that we wanted to try to have familiar faces in this program. So Circuit has indicated to us that they will do their best effort to try to get dedicated drivers in this particular area so people become familiar with their driver. So as of right now, the goal is this service area, expanding to Northwest, expanding to Western Chula Vista in entirety. And, you know, really, it's just a matter of success in the program as far as how far we can go. Circuit can provide on-demand service outside of a service area as well. But for now, given the parameters of the grant that we applied for, this is the initial start of this effort.
So you're saying Eastern Chula Vista is not included at all?
Not at this time.
I'm aware of paratransit services for people with mobility issues, but I'm not aware of anything similar to what you're proposing for general senior use. Is there anything else that seniors can use besides the normal public transport at this time?
Yeah, so there is FACT and there's the MTS access buses that seniors can use, but those are not on demand necessarily. They do give you a time frame, but sometimes people end up having to wait some time to get their ride and so forth. This is more of like an Uber or a Lyft scenario where you should be receiving service, you know, within a matter of minutes. And so no, it is unique. It's definitely unique. And like I said, even for Circuit, it's a little bit unique because they haven't dedicated to seniors specifically, or much less providing free service for seniors.
Thank you. Any other commissioner questions or comments before the public period?
No, so far this is another one of the great ideas today. We have so many for seniors today. I'm really excited to hear about all of them, and I think this will be great visually also to see, you know, these carts going around, people hear about it, and just know that we're a senior-friendly community throughout all of this, especially with the new bay coming in and people wanting to get through the downtown area. And I think it's great. I'm excited for it.
And I will just add, Pat, I know you were questioning about Eastern Chula Vista. The grant that we applied for, the Clean Mobility Options Grant, is very specific to areas that are designated as disadvantaged communities and have what it's called an Enviro Screen area. Essentially, it means that the air quality in that area is not necessarily as good as it may be in other areas. And so that was really the focus of this particular grant. Obviously, as we see opportunities, we will look at other types of grants as well and to service other areas of the city. But this one, those orange census tracts that you see on the screen, that was the primary area we had to focus on given the parameters of the grant to be eligible.
Thank you.
I will now call for a 2-minute pause to allow the public to submit any final comments on the item before any final commission comments. Commissioners, as a reminder, please refresh the view on your screen to ensure new comments appear. The commenting period for this item is now closed. Commission Secretary, would you please announce for the record the number of comments received?
No comments were received. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any additional comments or questions? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is item number 5, presentation on programs for seniors to access technology. I understand we have another video to start the presentation.
My name is Jeannie Lemaire, and I just took this wonderful class that was headed by Sergio, Juan, and Karen to allow us to learn about iPads. And I'm telling you, we may be seniors, but we're not gone. We have a lot of interest. We want to participate in technology. They were such great teachers, and they're so enthusiastic. They make us enthused, and we're so looking forward to the course that we can learn more about it, because it's long past when we would have known about iPads or phones or computers. And this way we get to catch up and participate and interact with our children and our grandkids. And it's just a wonderful program. I thank you so much that somebody thought this up and realized that we've got a perfect group here to extend it. So please, please keep this on your list to do it elsewhere. I mean, seniors are not like they used to be. We're not just sitting over in the chair. We're active. We're participating, because our minds don't change. They're no different than when we were younger. And when younger people see how older people are, and then we can identify and work together and help each other out to have a happy, healthy life on this planet. So thank you so much for making this possible. My name is Jeannie Lemaire.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that video. My name is Quan Nguyen, and I am the program administrator of Choose Well and a member of SOCAN, an organization that Annabelle, who is also here, will be co-presenting with me after I share a little bit about technology for seniors. So what is Tech for Seniors? It is a program that it's a pilot program that was conceived at the end of last year when organizations in South Bay came together along with a backbone funding organization, CCDC, to come up with a plan to help these seniors that have been basically stuck at home since March with the pandemic. They can't leave their home, and especially these low-income seniors in South Bay, like they don't have access to internet, they don't have access to a computer, tablet device, so they can't get any information or access information from the outside world. So they were just trapped in their apartments. So we came together and we brainstormed some ideas, and then we developed this pilot program. We call it Technology for Seniors. This program distributes iPads for free to low-income seniors in Chula Vista. Right now, there are 2 participating communities, Congregational Tower, as well as the Salvation Army's Silvercrest residence, which is just down the street from them. So it looks like Congregational Tower is getting a lot of benefits today based on all these programs I see for them. But for us, what we're doing is we're providing iPads to them, and not just that, we are sitting down with them one-on-one to show them how to use the iPad. That's what makes this program so unique. And so we're not just throwing them an iPad, and because for many of them, like I was just there yesterday to distribute the iPads, and for many of them, all they see is like a brick. You know, they don't know how to use it. They're like, how do I take the cover? How do I remove the cover from this iPad case? So we're just going really slow, doing one-on-one with them, using a group of volunteers, younger volunteers, because they're a lot more adept with technology than older adults. So we're using these younger volunteers as well as paid staff to help bring them up to speed so that they could be self-sufficient, make decisions, get information from the outside world. As some of you guys have mentioned, so much is dependent on technology nowadays. Especially recently, just to get your COVID vaccination, you have to be pretty tech savvy to refresh your screen every 30 seconds to see if a slot comes open for the vaccination super center. So you got to be fast. So it's kind of hard to do it when especially these seniors, they don't even have a computer. So this program helps out with that aspect. The demand has been, it's way exceeded the number of iPads that we have given out so far. The initial pilot program provided for only 20 iPads, and we already had 67 interested participants. So we fortunately we have a very generous backbone organization in CCDC, and they have agreed to augment our funding so that we could provide iPads to everyone who would like to participate in the program. So the program is, for each participant, is 6 months. They will receive the iPad. There are just 10 classes. They're 10 one-hour classes. The scheduling is very flexible. We come to them no matter where they are. Yeah, that's a good slide. Perfect. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I should have said next slide. We come to them whether they're in their resident or in the community room, and we will teach them the basics on how to use the iPad to communicate with their family, to buy things online, find a group, find things on their GPS, make a doctor's appointment. And then one shortcoming we realized is that even though they have these iPads, many of them don't have internet access. So we're also providing them with Wi-Fi hotspots if they have poor internet access or no internet access in their apartment. So this program, it helps. I know we were talking about reaching out to the people who are hard to reach. Well, we're helping these people reach out to the resources that are available to them, so that they can live better and live healthier. And with that, I will bring it over to pass it on to Annabelle, who will share some information about the background organization, the organization SOCAN, who's been So Annabelle, whenever you're ready.
Thanks, Kwan, and thank you again, Stacy and Maura, for inviting us to quickly present to the Joint Commission. We do appreciate the time. And just like Kwan said, this wonderful opportunity came upon last year, especially with the pandemic, and our hope is to really address reducing isolation and loneliness amongst our seniors. So this was a great opportunity for us to take advantage of and applying for a grant, and CCD is very generous. And so we just wanted to give you an idea that this was made possible because we have a great fiscal agent, Renewing Life, which, as most of you might be familiar, Tony provides transportation services to a lot of our folks in South Bay, especially our seniors. And so they agreed to be our fiscal agent. And then through the work of our wonderful SOCAN members who are part of the subcommittee, we're able to go ahead and make the grant funded. And now we're doing a secondary application, which is great. So SOCAN is just a wonderful volunteer organization that many of you might be familiar. I know Stacy and Aaron, you get the emails from us all the time, and you have attended and presented in the past. So this is our mission and vision. And we have been in existence since 2002. So SOCAN is a group of different nonprofit, for-profit, volunteer agencies that have been really focusing on making sure that we do not forget our older adults and persons with disabilities in our regions. And we want to make sure we advocate and promote events, as well as making sure that we are focusing on enhancing the quality of life in our communities. Next slide, please. And then just to give you an idea, we just want to highlight some of our past SOCAN events. And we've always had a wonderful partnership collaboration with a lot of our the cities in South Region, but of course, one of our stronger partners, City of Chula Vista. This one is our Dancing for Your Health, which is one of our signature event. And believe me, a lot of our seniors are very, very disappointed that we had to put a hold on this. And I'm sure Aaron knows how much our senior community loves this event. This particular one was taken at Loma Verde. And before the pandemic, we were able to host it on 2019, which is the last one, at Otay Rec Center. As you can see, we also try to collect donations to support San Diego Food Bank. Next slide, please. Okay, the next slide is another event that we have hosted, thank you, at the Bonita Library. And you will see that this one is called Live Stronger Longer. And we really try to put a lot of meaningful events that are usually half day, 3/4 day, where you can see we have volunteer nursing students provide flu shots. We have a lot of many organizations providing resources throughout the day, and presenters that we will make sure that they provide a lot of great topics. And of course, you can see it's a full house at the Bonita Library. And of course, this is before the pandemic, because we'll be in trouble if this is happening right now, as we cannot be that close to each other. But there's so many different events we've done, like South County IG Games, but we just want to let you know that we have a group of wonderful organizations, individuals that we partner with everyone to make these wonderful events and pilot program that our hope is to expand it and offer it to other parts of South Bay. And we also just want to put an extra plug that even though we always want to incorporate intergenerational programming, and as Kwan mentioned, we are onboarding college students right now to go ahead and provide volunteer opportunities for our seniors that are participating in the Tech for Program pilot. We are also trying to encourage other folks that are not college students, not just young adults. We want to make sure multi-generational. We know a lot of people are retired and they might want to do something different, or they have a lot of tech experience. So we want them to really reach out to us. And if you know of any particular group, let us know and send them our way. And I believe the next slide might be our contact information. Or no, the next slide is just trying to identify our main grant funder right now, which is Community Congregational Development Corporation. And I am hoping to send some more information to Stacy, because I think there's a lot of possibilities to apply for additional grant with them. And one of their key focus is transportation. So it might be perfect for your shuttles program service. And I believe the last slide is our contact information, Kwan and I. Kwan is a member of Choose Well as a SOCAN member, but he's also our contracted technology project coordinator for this pilot program. And they are doing a lot of amazing demo and follow up with our resident seniors at both sites, and they're very excited and motivated. So we are really moving along with this pilot, and we are excited to find out when the evaluation are completed. And lastly, last plug, South County Action Network meets every fourth Tuesday of the month. We are meeting not in person, it's all virtual, as we all are doing these days. And it's March 23rd is the next one from 1 to 2:30, and it's all through Microsoft Teams virtual platform. If you're interested, there's my information there. You could email me information if you want to get the schedule, or you want me to invite you, and maybe possibly get Aaron and Stacy to present one of our future meetings about updates about great programs that we have for City Chula Vista, because we'd love to hear more of those services. And right now, I guess that's it. We want to make sure we're mindful of the time, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to present real quick to your Joint Commission's meeting.
Chair, if I could just make a quick couple comments.
Please.
So we are in touch with CCDC about the transportation and much more. Aaron and I have been talking to them for over a year or two now. And Aaron's actually gonna follow up with another project that he's working on for technology for seniors right now.
Thank you, Stacy. And it's very similar to what Kwan was explaining, hit the nail on the head with just the struggle that we've had, or we've realized how big the tech gap really is now that we've had to resort to only that. And not just with having to look at the iPad or your iPhone and try to figure out how to use it, but we had this initial thought about that came from our senior mobile rec. If you guys remember, we wanted to take recreation to a park near you because we realized that transportation's an issue for a lot of seniors. And so we thought it would just be more convenient if we met at your local park and you could still participate in the programs that we offer over at the senior center. So with the idea of now having iPads and devices we wanted to create, and we're going to steal this idea from Apple, is our own version of a Genius Bar for seniors, strictly looking at technology and just looking at a few things. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking the telehealth, which is going to be super important because a lot of the hospitals and clinics, they're not accepting some of the participants to go inside due to COVID issues. But
Do you hear
with
what
that,
she She's like, it's with fish email, write up the things, and I'm like, yo tampoco, that's why. Y yo, entre ellos dije el tema.
Gio, if you could put yourself on mute, unmuted.
Okay. She has great ideas too. So with that, we wanted to create a Genius Bar where we're able to concentrate on, for instance, telehealth, how important that is. We want to make sure that our seniors are still communicating with their doctors and the healthcare professionals, because if they're not able to go to the hospital or visit in clinics, we know how important it is for a lot of seniors to see their doctor monthly due to prescriptions, different health issues. And so we don't want to have technology get in the way of that. We all know, and I use this example, is when you forget your password and how to recover it, imagine having to register for a lot of these programs. So that's one program that we want to highlight through it, besides teaching you how to use the iPad, but also having some how-to workshops. So Stacy mentions Lyft and Uber, and a lot of us use it. It's so convenient, but a lot of seniors are not. And we had one young lady at our first video, Stacy, who was spending like $50, $60 just to go to the bank using a cab. And when we looked it up on Uber and Lyft, it was like $17. So just the amount of savings you can get with using some of these applications, so convenient. And we had a partnership with High Tech High, and it was a great intergenerational program where the high school students were coming in, getting their community service hours, but also they're the ones that know all about how to use all these devices. So it does create that intergenerational activity. And then also one thing that we are starting to look at a little bit more is just the resume building, the job applications, because more and more seniors are having to have a part-time job. We all know that Social Security, the average Social Security check is between $1,100 and $1,200. And in California, that's not going to get you very far. And so a lot of these seniors are having to look for a job, and the way to look for a job and to get a job is a lot different. It's even more different now with a lot of job interviews being online, like we're meeting right now. And so we just want to be able to help our seniors, give them the tools and the resources in order to continue to move forward, especially during this time. So we were able and granted a grant through this group called Health and Harmony, and they were able to see our senior roundtable, and we were awarded. So we have 12 iPads, and we're going to really launch this program hopefully in the next month or so, where we'll have Genius Bar meetings, hopefully at a park near you or by appointment. So just like Kwan was saying, we want to make sure that the seniors not only get the device, but are definitely learning how to use it, and hopefully we can teach them a little bit more. So we'll be right behind you, Kwan.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and the rest of the presentations were awesome. Do any commissioners have any comments or questions for staff or the presenters before we go to public comment?
Alan, there was a question for Kwan about the Tech for Seniors. Are you providing that in various languages?
Yes, good question. So it is a fully bilingual program right now in English and Spanish. We do have Tagalog available, but we haven't had a resident request it yet, because it seems like most people who speak Tagalog could also speak English fluently. But yes, it's bilingual.
Okay, seeing no other comments, I will now call for a 2-minute pause to allow the public to submit any final comments on the item before any final commission comments. Commissioners, as a reminder, please refresh the view on your screen to ensure new comments appear. The commenting period for this item is now closed. Commission Secretary, would you please announce for the record the number of comments received?
No comments were received. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any additional comments or questions?
There was a comment from Ms. Gonzalez in the chat about teaching our seniors how to access WebEx and how to join these meetings. So Kwan, if that's something that you could consider in your process of teaching them, we would appreciate it. That was a fantastic idea, Cindy.
I'll make sure to, Cindy, I'll make sure to include it in our curriculum. Yeah.
Thank you. We did have a few that texted me earlier and said they couldn't get on for some reason. They really wanted to join and listen in, but it was just difficult for them to log in.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is item number 6, presentation on Norman Park Senior Center facility and programming updates. Staff Aaron Ruiz and Sean Ellis will provide us with the updates. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think with those texts, it just goes to show you how important these programs really are. And we need to get to work, but not necessarily a presentation, but definitely some updates. I think the $1 million question is, when is the senior center, a lot of our facilities, going to open? And we don't have an answer today, but we can say that as people continue to get vaccinated, that day is getting closer and closer. But what we are going to start to launch here, which we've already launched some of our classes out in the community, like ballet, some kids boot camp classes. We're going to be able to offer some senior programming, and it is going to be limited to be virtually or in our parks outside. But a lot of these programs are going to be made possible like they regularly are at the senior center with our CDBG grant that we usually get, that's around $30,000. We all know that seniors can't afford a lot of these classes, and so it's a great subsidy for us to be able to offer programs to our senior population. And so some of the programs that we're looking at launching first are as a circuit training class, and we have a brand new senior fitness center that's outside. It does have some shade that we've added. We're looking at getting some better lighting, although daylight savings time is about to hit us this weekend. But we thought a perfect way to complement a new fitness area is to have one of our staff do some circuit training. So it'll be about 2-3 minutes per machine. It'll help us teach you how to use it properly to avoid any injury, and also get a little workout in. We do see a lot of activity in that area, not just seniors. And although they are designed for seniors, it is open to the public and it's absolutely free. So that's one program. We also, I got a chance to see and speak to one of our instructors that teaches our English. And then we also have Spanish conversation. We haven't decided, we'll probably take a quick poll on whether these classes will be held virtually, in person in a park, as long as we're social distancing. But those are very popular classes over at the Norman Park Senior Center, especially the English conversation. And then we're looking at an art class. Art has really taken off for us the last couple of years. We had a successful art show, a senior art show. Part of our renovation that we can't wait to show you is we've even added an art area, little gallery area in our lobby of our center. So it's a great way for us to highlight that, with art being so important, and our seniors seem to love it very much. And then having a little bit of fun, hopefully playing a little bit of bingo. That's a very popular game as well over at the senior center, and finding a way to either do it virtually. And we've been talking to our neighbors that seem to be very popular here, the Community Congregational Tower, with having to host some of these fun programs where they have a little activity area that they can meet, and maybe we can be there virtually, not in person, but virtually, so that we can maintain a level of fun. I know that that's very important now. A lot of people have mentioned isolation. And then going along with our tech one-on-one classes, I think that complements our Genius Bar. So those are some of the, I know it's limited for right now, but we are talking to, we have a longevity stick class that's being held in our park once a week right now, and that's a very popular one. It really is a very big stick, but it helps you with your balance and breathing, and it's a very popular class. There's even a big class, I think over 100 seniors meet over at the J Street Marina. So that's something that we want to continue. They are a few programs, but we have to get started in some way, shape, or form, and to us that really gives us a good variety. But we're definitely open to any new trending activities or programs that we can launch.
Thank you, Aaron. That was great. Way to just to put on top of what Aaron is talking about. First of all, I want to thanks our commissioners that did come on today. Chair Tran, Commissioner Corbill, and Commissioner Mallon. Thank you for coming. Although we didn't have a quorum, appreciate you for coming on this meeting today. And lastly, Stacy, I want to thank you too. You put this together. This was very informative. So kudos. So one thing I want to hit on just before we end in recreation, we are working for Norman Park. We're trying to add different things. We are looking to get funding. We want to try to turn that horseshoe pit area out there. We want to try to turn that into like a bocce ball court area. We're looking to add lighting to the outdoor exercise area, so we can have seniors work out at night and the evenings when it's starting to get dark. And lastly, we're looking to transform our inside area where we currently have our workout area, our old dilapidated, nobody hardly uses it. We want to try to turn that into a pickleball court. So we are working towards those things at Norman Park, and we'll see what happens. We're looking for grant funding to do all that work. So that's all we had to say in recreation regarding Norman Park. We can't wait to open up. Slowly but surely it's coming. So once again, just thank you, everybody.
Thank you. That's very exciting. Do any commissioners have any comments or questions?
I just wanted to say I'm looking forward to the pickleball court. I just started last week and I'm super excited. And our mayor, Salas, is the one that got me into it. So blame her.
Where are you playing?
Pardon?
Where are you going to play?
Pacific Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I will now call for a 2-minute pause to allow the public to submit any final comments on the item before any final commission comments. Commissioners, as a reminder, please refresh the view on your screen to ensure new comments appear. The commenting period for this item is now closed. Commission Secretary, would you please announce for the record the number of comments received?
No comments were received. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any additional comments or questions?
I have one comment. Norman Park Senior Center, we have our Chula Vista walkers. We are practicing social distancing and we are meeting twice a week. If you know of any seniors that are interested, please pass on my information.
And what information would you like passed on?
My cell number is 619-889-9082.
Thank you. I think I know a couple senior walkers I'll send your way.
You can't miss them. They have great red hoodies that they wear.
And we also got a couple more sponsors. So we have bright teal t-shirts.
Well, it certainly sounds as the weather starts getting nicer that the Norman Park area is going to be a happening spot. Look forward to that. And the next item on the agenda is other business. I think staff has some additional comments for tonight.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get started with that and then pass it off to Erin and Sean. So on your agenda, there is mention of a March deadline for a Health Heroes Award that is being extended, so ignore that deadline. I have one of the interns that I talked about earlier that's going to be helping out to get this up and running over the next week or two. So this is the first time the Healthy Chula Vista Commission will be having an annual award. This is something that was in our action plan to create. So we will be awarding individuals, businesses, or groups in the 7 categories that our plan covers. So that's engagement, environmental quality, healthcare and prevention, healthy food access, land use, physical activity, and transportation. It's a lot of awards. So we're looking forward, though, to getting this out on the street. The month of April will end up being pretty much the nomination period, and then we'll be awarding in May, most likely at our May meeting. So I'll be reaching out to the commission about potentially canceling our April meeting because I don't think this or the vaping information that we were going to bring back to you will be ready in April, but certainly will be in May because I have an intern helping out with the vaping stuff too. So I'm putting them to work. But so keep an eye out. We'll pass along an email to everybody, both commissions, when this award is out on the street, and we look forward to seeing nominations around it. It's a really simple 3-question response based on whatever category you pick. So we'll be getting that out. And I'll cover the next item, and then if there's any questions. The next item is the city. You may have already received an email in regards to this, but the city clerk's office is going through a process to revamp our city agendas. And some of that will trickle down to commission agendas as well. But this is mainly a pretty big overhaul of our city council agendas. They're trying to simplify them, trying to make them more accessible. They will all be translated. So we've been working with the promotoras and now with you to get some feedback on some last questions that we have about what you would like to see on the surveys. We have about 90 to 100 people that have responded so far, but we know how many commissions we have in this city. So we're hoping to get a lot more today. So if you can, before you leave this call right now, if you haven't already answered the survey, pick up your smartphone if you have one, turn on your camera app and point it towards the circle here in the bottom right-hand corner. When you do that, at the top of your screen, a little notice will pop up and you press that and it'll take you right into the survey and you can complete it right from your phone. So please take a few minutes to do that. It should take about 3 minutes to do the survey, especially if you decide some of the wording is just too long as you start reading it, then you'll go even faster if you don't end up reading the full title on some of them. So Please join us so we can make our agendas that much better in the future. Thank you. And Sean and Aaron, if you have any staff comments. Sean, you're on mute.
I knew it was going to happen at least once. On top of everything that we've already said, just to let you know what we're doing as far as Parks and Rec. We are continuing to do our outreach to our senior community. We're calling out to them, just seeing how they're doing. And recently we've been calling them to make sure that they're getting their vaccination appointments. We're providing their phone numbers to the library if they need it, but most of them seem to be getting vaccinated. So it's very, very positive, most people that we talk to. And also we're continuing to help out at the South Library, helping people get tested for COVID-19. And we also continue to deliver food to anybody in the community who calls 211 needs food. We deliver food to them as well. So Parks and Rec, we're still busy. And like I said, we can't wait to, the way things are trending, we'll be open in no time. And that's it for Parks and Rec.
Okay, thank you. Staff chair comments are next. COA Chair Tran, would you like to provide any comments this evening?
Hi, everyone. This one's technically my first meeting as chair, so excuse me if I get a little shy. Just wanted to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to have this joint meeting. I'm a huge advocate for seniors, and I didn't realize that SDSU video was going to be shown today, so it caught me off guard. But I am also a gerontology major, so I'm going to be in this space for quite some time, so I am definitely looking forward to collaborating with everybody here and also for future meetings as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
You were fabulous in the video, by the way. So
thank you. Yes, thank you. It was fun. There was I think there was 3 of us total, and this was way back when, and I totally forgot about it until I saw that, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if it's going to show up.
Well, thank you. I would just like to add my thanks to all the city staff and basically everybody who's come together and has been very flexible and versatile and has found ways to meet and to help the community despite so many challenges this year. I think you've really made the best out of a bad situation, and I'm just so impressed by how dedicated everyone is to our community, including the commissioners. And with that, do any commissioners have comments tonight?
We appreciate all the presentations. They were all very interesting, and we're looking forward to getting back to work at Norman.
Chair Cruz, did you want to make any comment? Or excuse me, Commissioner Cruz.
Oh, you had to do that, didn't you?
Well, you weren't saying anything, so.
This is my last meeting. I am going to be moving from the area. I'm staying in San Diego County. Not quite sure where I'm going to land yet. But I wanted to thank Stacy and all the other commissioners for the many years. I don't know, how long have I been on here, Stacy? Feels like 5. Okay, I was right. So thank you, everybody. Good luck. Stacy knows how to get a hold of me. If you need anything, I'm always available to help and willing. So good luck in the future. Thank you, everybody, for welcoming me.
Good luck to you, Mary. You're going to be missed in the meetings.
Thank you.
Thank you for your years of service.
Are you still going to be at Sharp?
I retired last year.
Oh, you did retire. Okay, I didn't realize
Yes,
that.
and I've had both my vaccinations, so I think I'm going to start my retirement now. It kind of got put on hold.
Well, good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank you, Mary, for your dedication and your networking and your comments and everything that you have provided to this commission. You will be very missed.
Thank you. Thank you. I will miss you all. I'm not that far away.
We'll see you at the IG games.
Oh, God. Hey, I should, huh? Thanks, Aaron.
Any last comments? Seeing no final comments, it is 6:02 p.m. and I am adjourning this meeting of the special meeting, joint meeting of the Healthy Chula Vista Advisory Commission. I guess we don't know when our next meeting is going to be, Stacy, but for now we'll say that the meeting is scheduled for April 8th, 2021 at 4 p.m. for the Healthy Chula Vista Advisory Commission, and a regular meeting of the Commission on Aging scheduled for May 12th, 2021 at 1 p.m. via teleconference. Thank you all. Bye.